Show. Brought to you by the Club of Amsterdam.
Hello and Happy New Year. My name's Simon Jones. I'm from Cranfield University in the UK, and I've been associated with the Club of Amsterdam and the Future Now show for a number of years. Well, 2016 was quite a year. It was quite a year for me personally. After 15 years outside my own country, working in areas such as the Persian Gulf and Central Asia, I returned to the UK. It wasn't just a big year for me, it was a big year for people more generally. And in this conversation, I'm going to talk about 5 trends, I think, that started to emerge in 2016 and which will have a much bigger impact in 2017. Well, the first theme that I'd like to talk about is the unexpected demise of globalization and neoliberalism, its bedfellow. In 2016, a winner of a Nobel Peace Prize, Barack Obama, dropped 26,177 bombs. That was the world we were living in 2016. We've seen in the UK Brexit, where the British people decided, against all the advice of their elders and betters, to leave the European Union. We've seen the victory of Trump, who the Republican Party didn't like, and virtually every media outlet didn't like, win an amazing presidential election. In Europe, forces like the National Front and Marine Le Pen seem to be able to provide a significant challenge to the political orthodoxies. Why was this happening? What's going on here? Bill Clinton said, "It's the economy, stupid." After the financial shocks that started in 2008, GDP is once again growing. But that GDP growth is not translating into wage growth. In fact, 80% of people in the United States are no better off than they were in 1980. That's an astonishing statistic. In the UK, you only have a 50-50 chance now of being wealthier than your parents. That's an astonishing change where each previous generation assumed it would do better. Once when I was in Abu Dhabi at an important conference with important people, one of our politest and mildest students asked the question, "When will rich people have enough money?" There was stunned silence by the people he asked the question to. Clearly it's either a very difficult question, or perhaps the more worrying answer, they can never have enough money. And that feeling that your life and the life of your children is not going to get better is a worrying concern. And it's that lack of faith, really, that a political system can offer people a better future that has caused these revolutions. They started in 2016, but it's fair to say 2017 will see their full impact. My second theme for 2017 is really about a group of technologies coming together, developing and reaching a critical mass. We've seen that most recently in the rise of voice control devices such as Amazon's Alexa or Google's Home, and the whole host of startups that are following. This has happened because a number of technologies have simultaneously become mature enough. Hardware and algorithms for continuous speech recognition and speaker-independent speech recognition has become mature. More expensive beam-forming microphones, the technology has improved so the costs have reduced. The back-end analytics to turn a vocal query into accessing content or finding information on the web has become more developed as AI has started to improve. These things have come together and point us in a new direction where once a technology that we thought was of little relevance to the digital world, voice, is now becoming center stage. It's likely that this whole voice control thing will move into cars for sure, into purchasing, into shopping, into our every life. And 2017 may well be the year in which we see that it is, once again, the master voice. The third theme that I'd like to talk about is the long, slow decline of Apple. One of the most important things brand experts tell me is brand momentum. Not so much whether the brand is valued or not, but that the direction that it's going in is important and that people believe that brand will produce new experiences, new opportunities, new acquisitions in the future. Apple seems to have lost that momentum. In many ways, it reminds me of the times when I was working with Nokia 10 years ago. Nokia at that time were the kings of the cell phone arena. Nokia had the technology Nokia had the market access, but slowly Nokia failed to produce products that excited people, and people started believing that the next product that Nokia would produce was not going to be so good. And they gradually moved away from it. That and the technological opportunism of Apple at that time ate away at Nokia's base. And what happened that you had a once mighty and proud company didn't decline suddenly. It looked like it was fine, but the decay was from the inside. It feels to me that Apple is the same way now. Obviously Apple is a different company now that Steve Jobs is not here, but it's stacked full of talent. It's stacked full of ideas. What it can't do is produce the concept of a product that in the future will make us gasp with delight and astound our expectations. The iPhone 8 probably isn't going to do that. Maybe the Apple equivalent to Alexa might. Who knows? But there's a sense that it's lost momentum, and as anyone knows with heavy objects, getting it started again is the most difficult task of all. The fourth theme are self-driving vehicles, and I think in particular in 2017 it'll be self-driving trucks. There are 3.5 million truck drivers in the United States. They represent an important demographic for a Trump government of often white working class men with reasonably, if not outstandingly well-paid jobs. It's looking now as if it's possible to put self-driving technology into a truck for around $30,000. Indeed, there are startups in San Francisco that will do that. The annual salary of a truck driver is about $40,000 in the US. Now, these self-driving systems are not initially going to take you precisely from point A to point B. You probably have to drive them up to the freeway and then collect them at some other freeway point. But it's going to eat into a very important market and a very important symbolic aspect of the American economy and in particular employment patterns in America. Trucks are going to be the first one, for sure, and it'll be quite common 17, 18, 19 to see self-driving trucks, either with a dozing driver in or without, on our motorways, on our freeways and highways. In the longer term, it'll offer great opportunities for our own transport. What it will do to the railway industry is another interesting thing, but it's going to offer great opportunities. But the political, social and economic changeover of a very large economic sector, a very large employment provider, from one where working class men can undertake that to where machines substitute them, is going to have, if not just economic changes, very significant social impact. And my fifth and final one is, of course, cyber. Who could not have heard of cyber warfare these days? The Democratic Party claims it was hacked. The United States intelligence agencies say that the result of the election was directly impacted by people in the Democratic Party having as the password for their files the word password. Who knows? But whatever's going to happen in cyber in the internet area, I think it's the mobile phone area that's going to be more impacted in 2017. Most access to information these days comes via mobile devices. And we're going to see a whole range of threats there, not just simply having a file which you download onto your smartphone and then messes it up or texts all the capacity of your phone for shopping, for purchasing, for accessing financial services, for spreading fake news, for causing alarm and distress. And this won't just be the classic internet type approach of downloading a dodgy file. It'll be about hacking into the base transmission systems, the BTSs that actually drive the mobile phone networks, those are the cell towers you see as you drive around. It'll be about interfering with the radio channels that the handsets use to communicate with these base stations, hacking into that and changing the frequencies, changing the information. The impact on us is much more profound. We tend to work in an internet space, either at our work or in our home, but our mobile phones and our mobile phone communications are basically with us every minute of the day. That could have profound impacts in terms of the way we communicate, how we interpret the way we're communicated with, and the reliability and confidence we have in what is, after all, one of the major changes to our communications technologies in the last 10 years. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say. I hope it's stimulated some thought. 2017, I'm sure, is going to be at least as exciting as 2016, and I hope you have a good one. Thank you very much.